Let's see, what am I missing here? Oh yeah. Hat, check. Sunglasses, check. Pepsi, check. Notes, check. Sources, check. And thick skin, check. Let's go. Welcome back to Going to Blue Dude, everybody, and all we do here is college football. So if you're a college football fan, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, feel free to send gear to represent you and your team. Look around. That's what my background is made of. So if you want to be a permanent part of Going to Blue Dude and my background, send gear to represent yourself and your team to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. Now the new AP Top 25 is out. Here's what it looks like. And of course, I'll give you a comparison between the new AP Top 25 and my new Top 25. So here it is, the new AP Top 25. Number 1 stays the same, Georgia, with 31 first place votes. Number 2 stays the same, Ohio State, 17 first place votes. And number 3, Tennessee up 3 spots with 15 first place votes. So they actually got some first place votes. Number 4, Michigan up 1 spot. Number 5, Clemson down 1 spot. Number 6, Alabama down 3 spots. So basically Tennessee and Alabama switched places. Number 7, Ole Miss up 2 spots. Number 8, TCU up 5 spots. Number 9, UCLA up 2 spots. Number 10, Oregon up 2 spots. Number 11, Oklahoma State down 3 spots. Number 12, USC down 5 spots. Number 13, Wake Forest up 1 spot. Number 14, Syracuse up 4 spots. Number 15, Utah up 5 spots. Number 16, Penn State down 5 spots. Number 17 stays the same, Kansas State. Number 18, Illinois up 6 spots. Number 19, Kentucky up 3 spots. Number 20, Texas up 2 spots. Number 21 stays the same with Cincinnati. Number 22, North Carolina goes from non-ranked to number 22. Number 23, NC State down 8 spots. Number 24, Mississippi State down 8 spots. And number 25, Tulane from non-ranked to number 25. Now it's time for Golden Blue Dude's new top 25. Teams that were kicked out. Number 18, Kansas. They lost at Oklahoma 52-42. They are not the same team without their starting quarterback, and they lost a starting cornerback before halftime. Number 20, Mississippi State. They lost at number 22, Kentucky 27-17. I have them a little bit ranked lower than the AP Top 25, so I booted them out. Number 21, Liberty. Even though they beat FCS Gardner-Webb, they only beat them by 1 point, and that is an FCS team. That's good enough to get you knocked out of my Top 25. Number 23, James Madison, lost at Georgia Southern 45-38, so I had to kick them out. And number 24, Coastal Carolina lost to Old Dominion 49-21. Even though that was their first loss, they haven't looked great. I only had them ranked because they were undefeated. Now they have 1 loss. So I'm sorry, Coastal Carolina, but you're out. So today I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. Sometimes I work from number 1 to number 25, but today I'm going to go 25 to number 1 because there's actually a lot of changes in the top 10. So it's not going to be boring this time in the top 10. Number 25, another tie. Yes, I reserve the right for ties, but I don't eliminate a number just because of a tie. So, a tie at number 25. The first one is number 25, Oregon State. They're 5-2. They beat a good Washington State team at home 24-10. I'm telling you, Oregon State is a good team. They barely lost to USC at home 17-14. That was a few weeks back. I think they're a good team. Tied with them at number 25 is Texas. They're 5-2. They beat Iowa State 24-21. I think Texas is capable of winning the Big 12. They had a great game against Alabama and West Virginia, but another letdown game against Iowa State. However, they did come out with a win. Number 24, this is where I dropped NC State 10 spots. They're 5-2, and they lost on the road to a ranked Syracuse. But I think Syracuse's undefeated streak will come to an end. But NC State, you're still ranked. Number 23, non-ranked UCF up to 23. They're 5-1. They absolutely demolished Temple 70-13. Their only loss, not a good loss. It was a bad loss to Louisville, but they have bounced back. I think UCF is a top 25 team right now. Number 22, Kentucky. I had them non-ranked last week, but they did beat number 16, Mississippi State at home 27-17. So I decided to rank Kentucky this week. Number 21, Tulane. They are now 6-1. They won at USF 45-31. Tulane's a pretty good team. They beat Kansas State on the road earlier in the year, but they followed that up by losing to Southern Miss. So that's what's kept them out of my top 25 for a delayed amount of time. Number 20, up 1 spot, Cincinnati. They did not play. They are 5-1 now. Number 19, this is where I have Utah up 6 spots. They did beat number 7, USC. That's a great win, but you got to remember, Utah does have 2 losses. They are the highest ranked 2-loss team in my top 25 poll. Number 18, North Carolina up 7 spots. They are 6-1. They should have lost to Duke, but somehow they came out with the win 38-35, and that keeps them at a one-loss team, so I had to bump them up a little bit. Number 17, that stays the same for me as well. Kansas State, 5-1. Number 16, Illinois. They are 6-1. They're up 3 spots. A good win over Minnesota. I thought Minnesota was going to win the Big Ten West. It looks like Illinois might win the Big Ten West, actually. Number 15, this is where I dropped Penn State, down 9 spots, 5-1. I still think they're a good team, but they had a bad game against Michigan. Absolutely demolished by the Wolverines on the road, 41-17. Their passing game was basically non-existent. Number 14, Oklahoma State. I had to drop them 4 spots. They go on the road and lose to TCU. That drops them to 5-1. They had the game in hand, 30-16 in the 4th quarter, and Mike Gundy decides to go to safe play calling. And so that means he started to call plays to not lose. When that happens, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. Coaches, when are you going to learn your lesson? Whatever has gotten you up to that point, keep doing that. Number 13, Wake Forest, up 3 spots. Did not play. They're 5-1. As good as Wake Forest was last year, they might be even better this year. Their only loss was a close double overtime loss to Clemson at home. Number 12, Syracuse, staying undefeated, up 3 spots. They absolutely obliterate NC State 24-9, but I think their undefeated streak will come to an end in their next game. Number 11, this is where I dropped Alabama. I had Alabama at number 6 because of that close win over a bad Texas A&M. Well, now they go on the road and get beat by Tennessee, so I had to drop them even more. So yeah, Alabama is barely out of my top 10. They haven't looked all that great, to be honest with you. Number 10, this is where I dropped USC, down 10 spots. They go on the road and barely lose to a Utah. Honestly, they were a 2-point stoppage away from winning this game because Utah decided to go for 2, and Utah got the 2. That's what got them the win. But still, a loss is a loss, so I had to drop you, USC. But you're still in a good spot to win the Pac-12. Number 9, Oregon, up 4 spots. Didn't play this week. They have a big game against UCLA coming up. Number 8, Ole Miss. They stay undefeated, 7-0. They're up 3 spots. But once again, they don't look impressive against Auburn. They do snap a 6-game losing streak to Auburn, and they do get the win, but they didn't look impressive, just to be honest with you. They do beat Auburn 48-34. Number 7, UCLA, up 2 spots. A lot of people called me crazy for debuting UCLA in my top 25. Well, now UCLA's in the top 10 in the AP top 25, and I bumped them up 2 spots. They didn't play this week. They have a massive road game to Oregon this coming week. That could bump them in the top 5 if they win that game. But for now, they're still undefeated, 6-0. Number 6, TCU, up 6 spots. Somehow, some way, they come from behind and beat Oklahoma State, stay undefeated, 6-0. Well, basically, it came down to Mike Gundy's safe play calling. I don't know why coaches do that. TCU barely out of my top 5 now. Number 5 stays the same. Clemson, they do get a win over Florida State on the road. They had a pretty significant lead, and they kind of fell asleep, and Florida State almost came back and beat Clemson, but they're still undefeated, and they're number 5. Number 4, down 3 spots. Ohio State, 6-0. Look over to Blue Dude, they didn't play. I know, but things happened around them, so I had to drop them from the number 1 spot down to number 4. Number 3, this is where I also have Tennessee, up 5 spots, beating Alabama at home. They stay undefeated, 6-0. They do have a tough road trip to Georgia coming up here in a couple weeks. If they can go on the road and beat Georgia, they will win the SEC East. They might be 1 game. Tennessee, you might be 1 game away from winning the East and getting to the SEC championship game, but it is a very tough 1 game. Number 2, up 2 spots, Georgia, 1 spot above Tennessee. Georgia is still 7-0. They absolutely blast Vanderbilt 55-0, but Georgia has looked vulnerable at times. Can they finish off on a strong note? Remember, not only do they get Tennessee at home, but they also have to go on the road to Mississippi State and on the road to Kentucky. 2 very tough road trips. So that means we have a new number 1 team, and that is Michigan, up 1 spot. They're undefeated 7-0 with an absolute blasting of Penn State, 41-17. Look, that doesn't change the fact that Michigan has a soft schedule, because they do have a soft schedule, but they did win all their games, and they came out and made a statement against Penn State. Really, they have only 2 tough games remaining on their schedule, a home game against Illinois, and then a big-time road trip to Ohio State. And those are the last 2 games of the year. So going into those 2 games, they could be undefeated at 10-0 and then possibly drop both of them, or at minimum drop the road trip to Ohio State. But you still have to win the remaining games before those last 2 games. But Michigan will be tested at the end of the year. So y'all let me know in the comments section, do you prefer the new AP Top 25 poll, or do you prefer the new Golden Blue Dude Top 25 poll? That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.